Hello and welcome back to the Behind the Sign series, and today I am joined with Elliot Grozen. Elliot, thanks for coming, man.
Hello, everybody.
And Elliot, you've had a great career thus far. How long have you been in the business? Too long to remember?
I just hit 9 years.
9 years.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Elliot's crushing it, and he's a fun, relaxed guy, and his Instagram handle, The Surfing Broker.
Yeah, that's my business page.
Business page,
Yep.
all of it. And I love that. And tell us a little bit more about how you embody the surfing broker.
I like to bring fun to the workplace. So, 'cause if you think of work as work, you're not going to enjoy it. You're going to get burnt out. You're going to leave the industry, whatever you're doing. So if I can meet clients that have the same mindset as me and like to do the same things, every day's gonna be fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not gonna be hard to go to work.
And I love it. And I think I knew in one person in particular that I can think of that was always so afraid to show their personality, like who they truly were to clients, and they always were like, I got to wear a suit every day and I got to be the professional. And it just it's like no, like when you act as yourself and you have fun, people enjoy being around you. And
exactly.
Then you attract the clients that you want to work with, and it's like a win-win for everybody.
Right.
So I really appreciate that about you. I wanted to bring that up at the beginning because that's the surfing broker, and I love it. And the new signs with the surfing thing on it is incredible.
You like this?
I love that a lot.
I was torn. I'm like,
you were torn. No.
The waves kind of like anime.
No, I like it a lot.
Cool.
So you recently just bought and sold a house for yourself.
I did.
As a real estate agent.
I did.
Walk us through that, how'd it go, and also this market too. Got someone buying and selling a house, so tell us about it.
I probably did the worst thing that you never want to do and price it too high. My last
You didn't take your own advice.
I did not, but it worked. I had 5 days on the market. I mean, I did the whole coming soon. I did my own open, but I was 5 days on the market. I was like, shit, I haven't had a showing yet. What's gonna? I mean,
did I overprice
this? Is gonna
thing?
backfire. And first showing, 5 days in, they wrote. And
that feels
I had
great.
a bottom line in mind, and I was like kind of 30 grand over that. So I was like, all right,
You're
we're
like,
good.
oh, this is
we're
nice.
good. Inspect, do whatever, ask for anything. I'll give you a roof. I'll give you get rid of, yeah. So, so that was the house we sold. Another thing that we deal with all the time. Where am I going to go if I sell? I dealt with the same thing. So I went under contract. I had nowhere to go.
Didn't have anywhere to go.
So I asked for an extended closing, and it kind of worked for both parties, myself and the buyers. And I just hit the ground running, and I found one that was withdrawn a few months prior that kind of checked all the boxes. It was a little tight, but
good.
Had everything we wanted. I hit them up, and I said, hey, what's the plan? They're like, well, we had lots of interest, no offers. Everybody brought up the cast iron. So we're getting rid of all that, and then we're going to put it back on the market. I go, don't put it back on the market. I'm buying it. And they were skeptical. They're like, what if your deal falls apart? Because I had the home sale contingency.
Yeah, home sale contingency.
Everything lined up, and it worked out.
It went smooth.
Yeah, it went smooth.
You're liking the new house?
I'm loving the new house.
Love it. Good.
Yes.
And that's good because I think that's a lot of buyers and sellers' fears are that exact situation, which is, I want to move, I want to sell my house, but I need to do this sale contingency and I don't have anywhere to go. So did you structure that did you do a lease back or did you just do an extended closing?
Just did the extended closing. I mean, the whole thing was like a blessing in disguise because all these fears that buyers and sellers have, I kind of went through them all. So I can say from personal experience, hey, this is what happened. I didn't have anywhere to go. I left a low interest rate and got a higher one, but the equity I put down kind of offset that. I had kind of some ticking time bombs here with cast iron in my old house and old AC and expenses coming up. Now I got moving ready, nothing to worry about. So it helps with future business, just talking about everything I went through. Yeah,
you got to live through it yourself, and I think that is for anyone that owns a home in today's market, that's probably one of their biggest fears. And to just kind of like, people have all their different motivations as to why they want to do it, but what was yours? You want just different house, different lifestyle? What was like the reason behind the move?
I like to move.
Yeah.
I know some
You're in the
people-
business.
Yeah, I'm in real estate. I like looking at homes. That's why I get into real estate. I like buying and selling homes.
Yeah.
And it just opened a lot. Like, we had a 5-year goal where we wanted to get an investment property out of the country. So not only did we get a new house with more updates and stuff we didn't have to worry about, but we were building a place in Costa Rica too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's awesome.
it allowed us to
And
do
you
all
had
that.
built up equity from, when did you buy that? Your
The
house that
previous
you were in?
one?
Yeah.
2020.
2020. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
a lot of equity.
good testament to the people that are in that situation, and you went through that and lived it yourself. So
Yeah.
And how's the Costa Rica build coming along?
It's a gated community. They have on-site property management. They rent them out like a hotel, 4-bedroom units, and they're getting $700 to $1,000 nightly. So it's a good investment. We're gonna make good money on it. Use it a few weeks a year. And
Yeah.
that's it.
Go surfing.
Go surfing.
The surfing broker.
Yeah, and it's a busy area. I mean, Shannon's been there, and it's in Tamarindo.
Yeah.
and so it gets a lot of tourism.
I'm
which is
going
what
totally
we-
off track with all this, but what's
right.
the real estate agents? It's like totally different there, right? Like it's kind of the Wild West is what I've heard as far as,
It is.
like, did you ever talk to a real estate agent
I went
there?
right to the developer.
Right to the developer.
Yeah. I mean, they
Yeah.
had their own internal sales team. So,
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's exciting. How long is it supposed to take?
About a year and a half to complete.
Year and a half? So,
Yeah, and they don't even use the local ticos to build there. They bring people in from Nicaragua and El Salvador because the hourly is even cheaper than the locals.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so-
interesting.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, good luck with the build.
Yeah.
So August of this year, we had all of our real estate policies that have been updated. We've had a couple months now to adjust it. Tell us how that's gone, how you've adjusted to it, and what you think about it all.
I embrace change. It's not something I push back on. So it's one of those things we just deal with and roll with it. Not a lot's changed in my business. I mean, when I sit down with buyers now, this is the new norm. You're working with me and signing this, or you're working with someone else and signing it with them.
That's and Jeff and Jama just talked about this, but like the people that are more apt to change in general, it's like they do so much better during these times, and you've adjusted well to it. And it's when you're afraid of change and you're like, sitting back and doing nothing about it, is when you get into that, like, I don't know what to do. And it's like the people are like, whatever, change is, it's like, doesn't even feel that different.
Right.
It's like,
So many people resist change, and those are the people that have really struggled this year.
yeah.
They're just, I don't know what it is, but I mean, I'm having one of my better years
Yeah.
in down market. So I'm excited for 2025.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a good year for the industry, but it's a testament, again, to people who aren't afraid of change, like, just keep pushing, moving forward, and everything's going to go great. If you're going to complain about it and do all this stuff, you're not going to do well.
Nope.
So,
Yeah.
real estate market, it's a super competitive market in general, being a real estate agent. How do you feel like you've had a lot of success? How do you feel like you've differentiated yourself from other people in the industry? What's your competitive advantages?
I kind of, I know everyone says this, but I try to go above and beyond. Like, I'm not afraid to help throw mulch in the front yard and sit. I mean, a lot of agents, they'll say, "Oh, we got guys, we can do all this," but
Yeah.
I'll get down and dirty and I'll do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've helped handymen change water heaters in places I'm selling.
Yeah.
And I'm not one of those. And there's people that do really well, and they said, "This is my commission, deal with it, or find someone else." I work with people. I mean,
Yeah.
if it's going to be a slam dunk, easy transaction, and they want a little discount,
Yeah. That's a good thing.
I'm not greedy.
It's a good thing to talk about too. It's like,
Yeah.
some people are afraid to talk about that, but it's like, hey, some people have that stance, like you said, where it's like, this is my commission, and they're stuck hard on it.
And that's fine.
And then it's
It
like,
works for them. Yeah.
that's their style. And then you have, listen, this is the scenario. This is what I'm dealing with. Can I be flexible on this? Can I adapt to help out somebody? Because again, I think all of it is in the long term about, building relationships with people, and people know, like, hey, Elliot helped me out in this scenario. I was dealing with X and X, and Elliot went above and beyond and then helped me out with this, saved me some money, or, help the situation. And so now I know next time I hear somebody talking about real estate, it's like, you got to call.
Yeah. I just want people to have a good experience, and throw my name around at the end.
Yeah.
We all want referrals. And I mean, I'm at a point where that's where most of my business comes from.
Mm-hmm. That's it. And on that, you talked about changing water heaters and stuff. What's a deal that comes to your mind, whether we go with the strangest deal that you've had or just the most exciting? What deals pop out in your head?
I don't know. Every deal has its own little things.
Every deal's strange.
I've walked in places before where there's sex swings hanging up that they don't take down for showings to
You're like, hey,
Costco
I don't know if this is your best.
jars of KY on the nightstand. It's like, you couldn't put this away after your Diddy party? I don't know.
After your Diddy party. That's incredible.
I mean,
you see a lot of, it's funny what people don't care to leave out.
Yeah.
They're just like, man,
no
this is it.
Yeah.
This is it. This is my house. Take it or leave it. This is
I mean,
clean.
every transaction I've had, there's been something happen. I just had one that was ready to close. We were ready to close for 2 months, but it was a big builder buying these parcels, and they wanted to wait like the full 120 days or whatever it was. And I'm like, one of the sellers is hospice is showing up. Let's close this. Everyone's ready to close. They waited and they died right before closing. So now it's a probate 3 months later.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's always something, even the little ones.
Yeah. I've never had that happen.
No, I got like
Knock
4
on
probates
wood.
going on right now.
Yeah. Never had anyone pass away before closing, but that's well, they should have listened to you.
Yeah. And I had one. There's a property I was selling in Melbourne. Oh shit! This was before I worked at Denovo. You wrote on this deal. It was on Lincoln.
Okay.
It was an Orlando agent I took the offer from because it was pretty much full ask. And
Should have gone with my offer.
I know. Well, anyway, these sellers would not get out. The day of closing, there was still crap everywhere. And she calls me, this other agent, screaming at me, "I'm turning you into the board." I'm like, what did I do?
You're like, I'm not the one moving out of the house.
So I was like, at first I'm like, did I do something wrong? I called legal department. I go, can she call it? They're like, no, she can call it. They're going to laugh at her.
Yeah.
So, that was a fun one. It was like all those little ones that just stress you out.
They add up. But it closed.
It closed.
So real estate is roller coaster ride in general.
Yeah.
And you've been in it for a long time now. So everybody goes through ruts at different times. How have you dealt with like any time that you've been in a rut? What's your strategy when that happens?
As long as I have money in the bank, I go on a trip, because whenever you go on a trip, you get busy.
That is the truth. Like, I'm going to book a vacation because I guarantee that my phone is going to ring immediately as soon as I land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, this summer, we went to Costa Rica for 3 weeks. Longest trip I've taken in my entire life since I've been alive. And
How long?
it was 3 weeks vacation.
3 weeks. You said
3 weeks. So mid-June to early July, we came back right around the 4th. And July, I had my biggest month ever in real estate. All the closings just kind of lined up, and I closed out $5 million or $6 million or whatever it was.
So we got, I'm going through a rut. I'm going to book a vacation.
Absolutely. Just
Done.
leave.
Done.
Yeah.
What's being in real estate for this long? Like, what's one of the lessons that you've learned that helped shape who you are now? Like going through, whether it's been in life or just real estate in general, like lesson that you've learned.
Just be honest with people. I mean, I've had a lot of unfortunate divorce situations. They come to me to sell their property because they know I'm not going to take sides, and I just say, hey, put away the boxing gloves for a little bit. This was your biggest investment, your biggest asset, and my goal, if you bitch about the other person to me, I'm not going to listen.
Yeah.
My goal is, I like both you. I'm going to do whatever gets you the most money so you can move on with your lives. And so I just like honesty and just being like a good person.
Yeah. Follow through with what you say. Like do what you say.
Yep.
Be honest.
Yep.
We talked about this before. Pick up the phone.
We all make mistakes too.
Yeah. Everybody makes
Own
mistakes. Yeah. Own up to the mistakes too. That's a big one, because there's going to be things in a real estate transaction that are like unavoidable, or like no one could have anticipated it. And when you say, hey, this happened. I should have caught it. I didn't. And here's now what we need to do moving forward. And that people respect that because everybody knows, like, you have stuff happen sometimes and you can't do anything about it.
And you're not going to please everyone, but
you're not going to please everybody.
But those are the clients you don't want in the long run.
That's it. Yeah. And it was like with the whole, like, it's the serving broker thing, and it's your vibe, and it's the people that you get along with, and that's the people that you want to attract. And I think the more that people go all in on, like, this is who I am, this is my personality, it just attracts other people that are like that. And then it's a beautiful thing because everybody's happier in the end.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't tell you how many listing appointments I've been on lately where I walk in, I give them my little spiel and tell them about me, and they're like, "Oh no, we looked you up. We know all about your surfing, your real estate."
Yeah.
The internet's a powerful thing, and
it does
a lot of work for you.
And those are, like, it's also a great scenario where you're going into an appointment, the person already, like, even if you haven't met them yet, they know who you are, so they're already not coming at that, like, distrust place of, like, let me ask this person these questions and find out who they are, and I'm qualifying them. Like, you're showing up and they're like, oh, I know.
And I do the same thing.
Well,
I mean, I research my people. I do first look up the phone number. Like, for example, I showed one of my listings yesterday. I got this call from, it was Delaware, and I did a reverse lookup and saw he's a big PI attorney retiring up in Delaware. So I like to know what I'm going into.
Yeah,
when I
for
meet
sure.
these people.
Yeah, and then you avoid, serial killers and stuff too on top of that.
Yeah.
What's one of the most, like, unexpected ways you've gotten, or odd ways that you've gotten a lead in the real estate business? It's come from somewhere, some strange place.
All right, I was dating my wife for about 2 months, and her folks had a place in Indy Atlantic that it was a vacation home that they wanted to get rid of. And they called her up and said, "Hey, have your boyfriend come meet us to list the house." And she's like, "Mom, you haven't even met him yet."
Before they met.
I've never met them.
Before you met them.
So they drive over from the west coast of Florida, and I go in there, and I'm sweating. I'm like, oh my God, I have to not only give a listing presentation, but I'm meeting my girlfriend's parents for the first time. The dad judged me. "You're sleeping with my daughter." I'm just like, I was beet red, sweating. I mean, I got the listing and sold it.
I got the listing. Yeah. Oh man, that was a tough one. That's a high pressure one.
Yeah,
meeting and on a listing appointment at the same time.
Right, and they wanted to overprice. You heard that?
Oh, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, Elliot, thanks so much for coming on today. This is the Behind the Signs series. Elliot Grozen, and good stuff, man. Appreciate you.
Thanks, everyone.